I now call this meeting to order of the Upshur County Board of Education. Roll call, please show that all members are present. Would you please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? Mr. Parker, will you lead us again, please,
Yes.
sir?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Mrs. Dean, can you do the mission statement this evening?
Upshur County is committed to creating a united community for educational excellence.
And we're down to approval of the agenda. Are there any agenda adjustments?
Yes, under the facility request heading, there is a mistake in the date. It's up for Upshur County Rec for their basketball, the use of BUHS. It should be July 30th, not June 30th. And then also on personnel, Brian Smith is listed twice. The first one on the list should be stricken as he did not start work on April the 9th. And that is all.
I would entertain a motion that we accept the agenda as stated with the adjustments.
So moved.
Mr. Wager,
Second.
second by Mrs. Dean. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? We are up to delegations, and we have one, Miss Elise Lively.
Could I have 2 seconds? Hannah's almost in the building.
You may
Yes.
certainly have 2 seconds.
Coming from the cross practice.
Two. Time's up. She might not. She didn't. They put something in the door.
It was open.
Oh, okay. She got lost.
Walking in the building. But in the meantime, I'll let you have a preview. I may or may not be able to do this.
Well, just,
You can-
well, we can pass.
Oh, I mean, talk.
Oh, okay. Yeah, yes.
You can do it.
Do I need to speak in the mic? Yes.
Yes,
Yes.
so it'll pick you up then online. Here she is.
Run, Forrest.
Well, good evening. On behalf of a couple of people, the Foundations for Better Schools, and myself, Elisa Lively, Upshur County resident for 38 plus years, and Hannah Lively, my daughter, and younger sister of the subject of this book. The Foundations for Better Schools has purchased 5 books for all 7 elementary schools, and I have those books back here and I'll leave them tonight. And these are ones that will go in the libraries, but I wanted you to be able to see them. At least 4 of you on the BOE have touched, well, let me say, have been blessed by the life of Miss Megan Lively and knew her, and
Just a really important book to have on the shelves. I think that it's, you guys know that it's important to have representation of students of all different sizes, colors, you name it. And I can't think of anybody in our town that didn't have a connection with her in and around school. So it's interesting too to see even my current students who might have a sibling or a cousin with special needs grow up with such like purity. It's important that kids get to read about it too, because sometimes that's their only connection. But take a look at it, maybe you remember some of the memories, and maybe you will appreciate having these on the shelves too.
And Megan was a student from the early intervention program at age 3 until she graduated with an adapted diploma at age 19 and a half in the top 20 of her class, I might add. So, there you have it. I'd love to have a picture with y'all. Katie.
Okay.
And as she's coming, this is absolutely wonderful.
It's beautiful.
It's a beautiful book.
It is such a wonderful story, but what it will do is it will really continue to help broaden perspectives of our students, because you know what? They don't see the differences. And if we can continue to work with them so that does not, taint them in any way, it is just absolutely wonderful. So thank you. Thank you very much.
Do you all want to come over here, or do you want them to go behind you? What is everyone?
Whichever was easier for you.
All right, let's just go over here then, so we can get everybody.
Don't trip over things. Just be careful where you stand. And I can take them, please.
Lily?
Good, how are you?
On behalf of the board, I can't tell you thank you enough for writing the book that tells the story of Miss Meg.
Literally exactly like her.
Oh, yeah.
That is
That's
her.
a, yep, more red. That's Megan.
It's a publishing company from alum from Wesleyan, so that made it even more special.
Yes.
That's great.
So, and one of you will make sure they get there.
I will.
Thank you.
I'll make sure, in fact, I'll put them in the mailboxes this evening before I head home.
Sounds great. I can make sure they make it to at least one destination. All right, thank you guys for your time.
Thank you.
Ready for me?
That is our only delegation. On to superintendent's update.
Yes, so this evening I put in front of you just a quick update. Our attendance, our average daily attendance rate stands at 93.07%, and that was as of yesterday, and our county chronic absenteeism rate is at 21.16%. I did give you the list of chronic absence by school. I did not include the middle school or the high school in this. They're about the same. My paper and things got a little bit messed up in order to be able to do that. We have seen an uptick, particularly around spring break and return. We're very worried about what this Friday is going to look like. We have to make the days up, and unfortunately that was one of the days that we could use as a makeup for the excessive winter that we decided to have in Upshur County this year. Next year, we're going to have a new slogan to continue promoting attendance, and that's under 10 for the win. That's what we really strive for, is making sure that our students do not miss 10 or more days, because then that puts them into the chronic absence category. So we're working very hard to make sure that we're thinking of unique ways to get them to understand that as something that they can grab a hold of. So the attendance committee voted yesterday, and they came up with under 10 for the win. They started with about 9 choices, and that was the final selection that they made. Mrs. Baisden is doing an excellent job leading that group to help them really work with our students and our principals as well as families to make sure that they're in school every day. We are currently doing iReady benchmarks. It will be a good indicator for us looking ahead on performance on GSA, particularly in growth, so in the performance area, not necessarily in achievement, but it will help us look at how we may perform as far as growth on the GSA. Tomorrow, here at the high school, they will be taking the school day SAT, so all of the juniors will be involved in that assessment tomorrow. Thank goodness the electric problem happened today and not tomorrow. So we're looking forward also to those results, because we did do an SAT boot camp for the first time this year, which was well received. We have Mastery Prep, and they've been working very diligently on trying to get some of those pieces in place, but I think we'll see an even larger improvement next year as it has a full year of being in place. That's all I have for this evening.
Board member committee meeting updates. We'll start with Mr. Parker. Anything?
Yes, the Stockard Youth Community Center Board of Directors did conduct a meeting, their quarterly meeting. A lot of the meeting pertained to the number of contacts, determining the number of contacts, how many students were reaching. Not if 2 students are there 10 times, but 2 students or 2 children. So we're trying to refine that. There was a subcommittee appointed, which I'll be a part of, along with Nancy Shope, Don Nestor, and Deborah Brockelman, to take a look at those, as well as then the attendance at after school and the Camp Buccaneer, the fees. There's some fees that are past due for those, and the collection of past due fees, how we're going to approach that. And then the capital funds they raised as it relates to the building campaign. They're sending, or will be sending, letters to donors and on the use of funds. Some have already contacted about returning their funds to them. As you may know, or probably aware, the city of Buchanan decided not to proceed with the addition at the Stockard Youth Center in its current form, and it has been removed from active consideration. So, unfortunately, in my opinion, because that reaches a number of children, and it's a great program. So, but that's the summary of the meeting they held.
Thank you. Mrs. King, anything from Parks and Rec?
Well, Parks and Rec postponed their meeting, and it is going to occur tomorrow. So I will be able to give their update at the next month.
Mr. Wager?
The Fred Everly Technical Center Administrative Council met Tuesday, and the updates that we have, next 3 weeks, the Fred Everly will be conducting 8th grade tours of the facility so that they can get kids interested, and it keeps growing, so I'm so happy that they keep doing those. It's been a good thing. They did get their audit report. Sarah Wills was nice enough to come, and they did have 5 findings, I'm sorry. 3 were repeat findings. Mine, having been in a different position, don't consider those major. They were kind of minor things that they can clean up pretty quickly. And I will remind the board members that Fred Everly's graduation is scheduled for May 20th, and it will be in Wesleyan Chapel. And they're getting ready to do the bidding for their parking lot expansion.
What time is that graduation?
You know, I don't have time. She did,
That's all right.
it wasn't on it, but I'll find it. I think it's usually in the evening.
It is in the
Yes.
evening.
Yeah.
I don't remember,
About
six-ish.
yeah.
I've been to so many of them, I should know that. But you'll also get an invitation.
Okay.
They will send you an invitation.
Thank you.
And we have another meeting prior to that to remind us.
Yeah.
Library Board?
Library board met, and they're working on their budget and, planning for the April 25th ramp dinner. So, you can get out. Oh, yes, it'll be a good one. To support your library, April 25th. Ramp dinner.
Moving on to minutes, policies, contracts, and agreements. As a reminder, all of these items have been approved through the authority of the state superintendent of schools.
But we do have a correction that we do need to make, and that is on the minutes from the levy meeting that was held on March the 11th. At the bottom, where we said that we would go and have a special meeting at 5:45, it should say 5:30. So we do need to make sure that we have that correction, and we will make it.
Could I also ask that on our roll calls, we begin listing the members' names by who is present?
We're going to.
Okay, thank you. Other than those corrections, is there anything else?
Question on the correction. Did we say 5:45 and then just put 5:30 on our agenda? How did that happen? I mean, not that it matters, I'm big.
You know, I'm not real sure how the mix-up occurred.
Because I think we said 5:45.
That's
So
what
the
I put.
minutes are correct.
Correct. It's that the agenda this
Then the
evening
agenda
is.
came out and said 5:30, so I think the minutes
Minutes
are
are okay.
correct.
Just not the agenda.
Yeah.
Since the agenda said 5:30,
Yes, we
that's
all
what we
showed
had
up.
to go by.
That's
Yes.
what we had to go by.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Parker.
Anything else?
Excuse me.
No? I would entertain a motion to accept the agenda or the minutes as they have been presented.
So move. Or second.
Who's first?
Sherry Dean for the motion and Mr. Parker for the second. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
You want me to just start down? Okay. Well, I'm going to start down the next things. The first one is an agreement for a tuition for a special needs student at the West Virginia Wesleyan College's Child Development Center at $30 per day, 5 days per week, not to exceed $730 per month. We've been working quite some time on getting these things corrected, and we do understand that what you received did have the student's name on it. The next piece of information that you received was regarding a bid for a combo cooler freezer, and Leggett Refrigeration was the successful bidder. I do, of course, have all of that information here, but we will put that in the file with the contract and everything else that occurs
Where will that
when
be?
we start that.
Where will that be?
Union, thank
Okay.
you, Union, yes.
I may have missed it.
That's okay. That's all right. Policies. All of the policies, they're revised due to technical language. A lot of this is solely about going from a district to a county, and 2 years ago, they made us all change all of them from county to district. So we're going back, and there were a misinterpretation of some of the of code too. So we had to go back, and that had to be revised again. So these are all technical corrections or revisions due to those pieces. The Edgar policies actually relate to federal things that we have to pay attention to when we're looking at finances, grant awards, and those types of things. I'm sure that they're going to come out with changes again, because the new administration, I'm sure, will be looking at these things and advising us as to how we are to move forward. Does anybody have any questions about those? Okay. So we will make sure that those all get placed in the update for our policy manual. We will be,
Excuse me, it was
yes.
just some language that was changed, not necessarily actual policy.
No, the policy was not changed, it was just language change. The other thing I did want to say is we know that our legislature just completed a session, but it does look like they're going to go back to a special session. On May the 3rd, we do have the update provided by the West Virginia School Boards Association, And then I'll go to a deeper dive May 28th with Bowles Rice as they go over all of those legislative changes and the impact that will have on boards of education. And once I return from that, then we will start sharing with you all any other information that may come along so that you can be apprised of any changes that may have to be made. We have been working diligently with the State Board of Education on requests for policies and looking at policy language based on what the Federal Department of Education has sent to us, and we've had to sign off on some assurances so that we could continue to receive our federal dollars. Again, a lot of those things will change in the new administration, and as you can well imagine, we're all anxiously waiting to see what that impact is going to have on us locally. So, you know, I just wanted to remind you all that there's a lot of changes that are going to start coming down the pike. The consent agenda, it's the calendar. As we had the hearings, it's the same calendar for approval for the 25-26 school year. We are waiting to hear if the bill passed on increasing our NTID to 10 days instead of 5 days. That's why we have not brought forth that policy yet, because we do need to wait and see if that actually passed. That would give us more days to be able to use that we would not have to make up then. So as soon as we know that, then we'll get on that and get that out. You see the list of requests to use facilities. We're getting a little bit better from some on making sure that we're listed as a second insured. Those that are not, we do call them and let them know that it's been approved pending the fact that that is added to it. So we do work closely with them.
Do you have
Yes.
some questions or clarifications?
Yes.
The Upshur County Recreation Complex, that is not associated with the county. That is a separate 501c3.
Yes.
And so it's a little confusing, but on the first one listed on our agenda, they have Buchanan Upshur High School as the additional insured. That should be Upshur County Board of Ed. And then there's no additional insured listed on their second one as for the dodgeball tournament.
So those are actually over at the complex?
No,
they're here.
they're here at the high school, but
Oh, okay.
the group is called Upshur County Recreation Complex,
Yes.
but it is not associated with the
Okay.
county.
Right.
It's a separate 501c3. I
Oh,
clarified
okay.
that with
Thank you.
Tabitha Perry today.
Thank you.
And then the Special Olympics, they don't have an additional insured
Right.
either.
Yes. Yes. Our field trips that are listed, both are out of state. One is to Kennywood, and then the other one is to Topgolf. I'm sure that there's going to be additional ones coming, because I did see in our droplet system today that there are some other schools that are going to at least be going to Pittsburgh. If transportation is available, they do know that, because we are limited on the hours that we can take kids there in order to be able to cover our runs. We just don't quite have enough substitutes. And Mr. Reynolds has been driving.
Do they provide a list, or an updated list on the number of chaperones?
They do.
Okay.
They do. It has to all be listed as riders if they're actually on the bus. It must be listed in that list, but they provide that prior to them actually going.
Okay.
You can see that there is another rather lengthy list of chaperones. They have all been through, the Sheriff's Department has done the background checks for us, and then of course we go through and make sure through the State Police Sex Offenders Registry that nobody is listed there.
You've got about 6 that need a 5 on the date.
Uh-oh. Okay, we will correct that. Thank you.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
I didn't even notice it.
I
I
didn't.
was just gonna tell her that.
Thank you.
6.
I see them. We will make sure that that is duly corrected.
If that's our biggest problem.
I know. Hey, we're doing good, right? We'll move on to financial. You do have a list of approved checks, our budget journal entries, and the monthly financial statement, which is February, ending of February. You will see, again, of our 4 fund areas. Our revenues to date in our general current is 21 million, and our expenditure is 22 million. Excuse me. As far as month to date, you can see also where the expense fund is of what has been received as revenue as well as expenditures. There is currently some transfers that are occurring in some of those areas out of the general current fund over to the actual federal funds that should have been identified in that. When we get to talking about the audit, that probably will make a little bit more sense to you.
I have a couple of questions on the checks, the invoices that were paid. And I've got copies I can give to you.
That would be fantastic.
One, Charleston Filter Service, I think this was Fred Everly, but the purchase order was March 14th. The invoices are August, September, and December of 2024. I don't know if it's something just got lost, and is what I would assume. Soul Shine Health and Wellness, I think this was yoga. Invoice is March the 4th, and the purchase order was March 21st. Our policy, Neola, the attached documentation is for Superior Environmental. And then Quill, there was a revision made. And evidently our system maintains the original date, even though you changed the dollar amounts.
That's that lovely Weavis system that's
Okay.
still antiquated, but they are out to bid for a new financial piece.
Good.
So hopefully we can clear up, because I still keep reminding them about the cash basis.
Yeah.
And I still keep
Yeah.
reminding them about that. So, yeah.
Because the auditor should gig us on that cash basis, saying one thing and doing another.
Yes, you're right. So the next piece under financials, of course, is the audit report, which you all have received, and you will be receiving another copy of it as well. It's great that we did have some corrections from last year. As they reminded when they reported out, because of the lateness of them coming and actually performing the audit, we have 3 months to actually make improvements or changes before they come back and then look at the next fiscal year. So the things that were corrected was we actually did publish the financial statement like we were supposed to. The excess levy, we pulled back all the funds from the individual schools. Sarah was bonded. However, it did not get recorded, so that's a ding, but actually getting her one was corrected. Of course, we put a policy manual in place, and the rest of them are repeated ones. When we're talking about segregation of duties, it's very difficult, particularly at our schools, when we have a principal and one secretary. So they're trying to figure out ways to help with segregation of duties. And one of the things that we've been kind of talking about at the office is perhaps if we could have someone at the office do their monthly financial statements or reconciliations, because then that would be a separation of duties. And that would go a long way in trying to help what we keep getting dinged on. Same thing at the board office. Sarah is working on ways that she can segregate those duties among them in a better manner so that deposits aren't taking so long to make, or they're only being made certain times because only certain people can go do it, receipts and different things. So she's working on that. We do have repeated findings in purchasing, and a lot of that goes back to not following policy, as we all know. We also have a repeat finding in expenditures over budget. The plan is to meet monthly with all of those directors that have budget responsibilities and give them a monthly printout so that they can see what their revenue is and then what their expenditures are to prevent that from happening. Personnel records and payroll, we've come a long way, but we've got a long way to go. The personnel records are looking better. They are much cleaned up, but there are still things that are missing, particularly ledgers that indicate years of experience and for retirement purposes. Payroll, we're still having issues with timesheets and some other things along that line. Leases And Sabitas, which is subscription-based information technology arrangements, is a repeat. Sarah's mentor has been here and already working on correcting those so that that's not a repeated finding for next year. Record of official bonds, again, that was a repeat because she failed to record hers with the county office. Official minutes of the board, there were some that were missing or did not have enough information. We're working on correcting those, and I think you'll start seeing corrections on those almost immediately. Unclaimed property, we are not doing our due diligence in making sure that any checks that are either not cashed or for whatever reason are lost and then we don't know what happens to them, or they're returned to us, they are not being turned over to unclaimed property in a timely manner. Retention of records, we have ways to go on that. Maintenance of the accounting records, we also need improvement in that area. Bidding procedures, I'd mentioned the timeliness of deposits, the control over expenditures. In the special tests and provisions, I knew that we would probably have a finding in special education. And once we really helped Mr. Harris and the auditor's office start digging, we found out that it was a fact that while the applications had been sent in to receive the federal funds, the GPS system did not send back to the proper people to let them know whether it had been approved or not, and then it did not show up in the grant system. So that is, we know there were issues there. There was an issue with child nutrition with a bid procedure, which Anthony's on that now. And then there were some federal programs pieces also. Activities allowed or unallowed, that is repeated. And then equipment and real property management is referring to inventory. Mr. Sisk is currently working on an inventory system so that we can make sure that we have an up-to-date, accurate inventory of the goods that we bring into the county and are using in our schools. This also goes back to federal programs because they also do not have a workable inventory system. So we're working on that, yes.
So Mark Hunt is the one who did the actual audit?
No, he is the state auditor. No, David Harris is who was here and conducted the
Okay.
audit. And
Is
then
that
they
the
brought
same-
additional people in.
Are they the same people who have done them previously?
Just
or-
last year, we started using the West Virginia Auditor's Office.
That's what I wanted to know.
Just
because-
last year.
Okay.
They were not the ones that
Thank
did
you.
them prior to that.
That's what I wanted to know.
And we will continue to use the West Virginia Auditor's Office. They are more costly, but I think we get a more thorough report.
Yes.
And I think that it keeps us on the up and up when it comes to our financials. And it's more transparent than out to the community.
Thanks.
So we will continue to use them. Any questions maybe I can answer or maybe I cannot? I will try.
I do have a number of questions on that financial statement and the audit.
Yes.
I don't know if a special meeting would be, during the day would be beneficial, because I've got a number of questions.
Okay. Well, we might want to consider that.
You know, for example, on page 83 of the audit, it's lists excess levy revenues
Oh, yes.
and expenditures, and there's a couple of areas, 3 areas where we have not met the levy call.
Yes. Yes.
And you know, there's a couple of areas we've expended more than what the
Yes.
levy called, which is fine.
Yes.
But there's 3 areas that we must expend some money per the levy call.
Yes.
And, you know, couple of the audits, and then the school audits, I would like to, well, the review is what I call it, but audits of the schools were done also. I forget which schools they were. It was school, it wasn't the board office. But checks made out to cash, that should
Yeah.
never happen.
Right.
Yeah, I didn't
Never.
understand that at all.
So I will just say this, Mr. Parker. We have spent the last 2 years working with our secretaries from all of our schools And they're getting better at a lot of these things, but there are things still that we will have to continue to go over with them.
I mean, I think we had 20 findings, many of them were repeats.
Yes.
As you noted.
Yes.
One of the audit findings that concerned me, as I was doing some research before I got a copy of the audit even, is, and this ends as June 30th, 2024, the last fiscal year, but, there were board members overpaid for certain meetings. That's pretty basic.
So this is what was happening though. There was a prepayment that was going out, and then there was not a return of if they were not in attendance for a meeting. Prior to me starting this sheet of paper that I do for every board meeting, there was only the minutes that determined who was actually in attendance. So last year when Mr. Harris was here and did the audit, I said, I used to use this in my former county. Would this assist in that? And he said, yes, because what you're going to do is you will make a copy of this, you will give this directly to your payroll person, and then they will have record of, and so will you, because then you'll put it in your file based on each of those meetings. So this has led to a correction of that, but previously, it was not done this way.
So the
So
people who
peop-
got
go ahead.
extra money did not return the money? Is
No.
that correct?
That is correct.
They can't,
How did he explain
he said that they can't figure out who
who it
was that had the extra money because
Wasn't
they
any
were
taxes
paid, you were paid for each board meeting,
Right.
whether you were in attendance or not. And then if you missed a meeting, at the end, they were to not pay you. So that he said he can't,
But they do it direct deposit in your account, so they can tell.
but they couldn't justify who was at which board meetings. It didn't
Just
say.
ask the
They can
person.
take roll.
I'll tell you for one.
These are meetings from when?
from, well, when we had all the mess with the agendas and things when I first got
When
here.
she first got here.
It would have been starting July 1st, 2023
Exactly.
Correct,
to June 30th, 2024.
correct.
And
Because I
so
asked the
until
same
I started
question
this-
when I was there for the audit.
And until I started this, there were no accurate records other than what was on the minutes.
Unbelievable.
And there was not a checks and balance in place. Now we have one in place.
The auditor, that performed the auditors,
Yes,
did they do an exit interview? Are they going to do it?
they did one.
They did one.
They already did one.
The board wasn't invited?
She was invited as a representative of the board. We always invite the president. Or someone, if she can't be there, then she would ask for someone to come in her place.
My past experience with county commissions, that's before the whole commission.
Yeah.
It's not a representative.
Yeah, we
there.
do, boards do representatives.
It was about 2 hours that we were there, plus.
Plus. Well, it would have to be based on the
Yeah,
number
I
of
mean,
findings.
my questions are gonna take 2 hours plus
Yeah,
to get answers. A lot of these questions could have been answered at an exit interview.
yeah.
And the basis, for our opinion, we got a disclaimer,
Yes,
which is no opinion,
Correct.
basically. Because you can have, there's 4 different types. Unqualified, which is clean. Qualified opinion, which is some material misstatements, but they're not pervasive. You know, like Mr. Wager mentioned maybe at Fred Everly, not pervasive. There's an adverse opinion, which is the material
yes,
are misstated,
yes.
not true and fair view of the financial statement, so they we'll give an adverse opinion, and then there's a disclaimer, which I'd never heard of before in my 30 years of working with this, which is no opinion, and they cited 6 or 7 reasons as of to why they were unable to arrive at an opinion, which distressed me quite a bit. I understand our situation. That's why, you know, I would ask about an exit interview. I was interested in, you know, what time period are we talking here? during the fiscal year. If we're talking May and June of 2024, then it's a bigger problem than if we're talking July and August of 23.
You're right. You're right. Yeah. No, but you are correct. You are correct.
So, if possible, I know we have no authority, I would request a special meeting to go over a monthly financial statement. I mean, I didn't send my questions last time because I knew Sarah was covered up with the budget and the audit, so no sense adding to that because most of them are similar with our current monthly financial statement. But I would make that request.
Okay. We certainly can take that under advisement, and we'll try to find a date we could do that. Okay, the next piece on the agenda is actually personnel. Again, remember that Mr. Smith was listed twice, so we're going to remove him from the first listing. On the resignation side, we did have a substitute professional that resigned, as well as we had 6 service personnel that resigned. We also had a substitute service and a coach that decided to resign. We had 1 retirement, Mrs. Kelly Flynn, who has been teaching 4th grade for us at base. We did have some employment, which is good. We have been looking for some science teachers, so I'm thrilled that we were able to get some science teachers as well as a special educator. On the substitute professional side, we did get a couple of substitute teachers. Of course, Mrs. Flynn wants to substitute, even though she's retiring. She would like to still keep herself involved with our kids. We had several hirings on substitute service. It's great to see all the cooks because we are really, we're suffering there. The substitute bus operators that are listed on here, they are currently going through training. We do have to go ahead and put them on here as substitutes as they complete that training. And then once they are completed, they have actually completed it, then we will be able to continue moving forward. We did hire we have a coach, a volunteer track coach, and then we had some extracurricular professionals for student council advisors and outside school environment. We did have 1 transfer on the service side, and that was from a transportation aide on bus 90 in the AM. She has been on bus 25 in the AM, but she has moved over to bus 90. So that's all the changes in personnel. Just a reminder that we will be having personnel hearings on Thursday. We did have 3, however, 1 employee today decided that they did now not want their hearing, that they felt that after meeting with me and walking through their duties and things, that they felt comfortable in the change that we were asking them to do. Someone from the state will be here on Thursday to conduct those hearings. You are more than welcome to attend so that you can hear and watch and see how the process goes. We will start now at 1:30 instead of 1 o'clock because the first person who was supposed to have their hearing was the 1 o'clock. So, but the folks from the department will be here at that time. You can see what the future meetings are. Sarah has asked if we could delay the budget hearing until May 13th, which I don't have a problem with, knowing that she just got all of this information back on the audit. And she's working with her mentor to ensure that the budget that she's putting together is going to be as close as she can. And based on the fact that we will be having a meeting on that evening to take care of personnel, that does have an impact on the dollars that she will be using to develop that budget. So we would move the budget hearing then to May 13th.
So April 22nd will be a 6 o'clock meeting.
It will be a 6 o'clock meeting
May
now.
13th will be
We
5:30
will start-
and 6 o'clock.
That's correct.
And then May 27th at 6 o'clock.
That is correct. As long as all is well with the preparation of the budget, we would approve the budget on May 27th, which meets the deadline of when we have to have it returned to the Department of Education by May 31.
Which meeting was 5:30, the May 13th?
May
Yes.
13th.
Mr. Parker, in thinking about doing a special meeting to get those questions answered, I'm thinking aloud here, But do you think that, and would it behoove us to ask for someone from the auditor's office to attend that meeting? Would you like that?
If possible, that'd be great.
Okay. How about if I check with them to see some possible dates? And then Elaine and I will get those out to you all, and then we'll figure out which date would work best. And we can do it during the day. I mean, that would not be a problem for
I
any
thought
of
it'd be
us.
easier for
Yeah, yes.
people to attend.
Right, so,
That need to
we
attend.
will, well, we'll
Answer
definitely, we'll start working on that right away.
Do you have anything else?
I have nothing else, for the good of the order this evening.
The graduation at Wesleyan for Fred Everly is at 7 p.m.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Wager.
And you did say the chapel, correct?
Yeah.
Yes.
I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Mrs. Dean,
Second.
second, Mrs. King. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? We are adjourned at 6:46.